All right. Welcome back to the Blamegirl Podcast with
Mr. Terry Wayne.
And we got Shannon in the house. Welcome,
Wow.
Shannon Laleem. How was your weekend, Shannon?
I actually had a pretty good weekend. Friday just kind of hung at home, but Saturday, I don't know if you guys know the Kill Tony podcast. You guys familiar with Hans Kim?
Yeah. I met him when I did open mics in Austin.
Oh, cool. Yeah, so I hung out with Hans Kim on Saturday.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. We got like drinks at Benny on the Beach.
Mm-hmm. He performed there?
No, he was performing. He was opening for Michael Yo.
Okay.
And whatever, we just got talking. And we met up to have a drink, and then did an open mic, and then went to Propaganda.
Okay.
Like a Lake Worth local would.
So you went to Pause, I'm guessing.
Yeah, Pause. Yeah. Which is currently Lewis's mic, but is going to be Jackie's. It's only gonna be once a month now.
Oh, wow. Okay, that's fine. It's hard to keep a good Saturday mic going. And if it's a Saturday, I almost maybe you should have shows. I know.
Is a bomb going off there?
It is a bike.
We are at a barbecue spot.
So how was your weekend, Terry?
My weekend was good. Spent it mostly doing things around the house. Still trying to get things in order since the move. So mainly doing just adulting. Let's just call it adulting.
What? Get things in order for what?
For the rest of life. Like just not have any work to do for a second. So let's get this under control.
Oh, okay.
A lot more huh?
You get that studio together?
No, still trying to figure out how to get that room empty.
Are you a musician or?
No, for our podcast.
Oh, for the podcast.
No, for this, yeah.
Oh,
He used to be a musician, but we won't go into that.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about my weekend since his was so boring. And no one asked. Yeah, I know. I had a good weekend. On Friday, I went out to Jen Hellman's show, Let Us Laugh, at the North Palm Beach Country Club. I hadn't gone to that show, and it was just a swanky affair. It was
Jen Hellman, who will be our guest next week.
Okay, you did it. You booked her.
Yes.
Okay, great. So I went to her show. It was awesome. My girl Minda, she featured for Brett Ernst, who I had not seen. He's very funny. And then I popped over to the Brewhouse Gallery, where there was a show put on by Daniel Ferrer with some friends. And then Saturday, I didn't do anything. I went to dinner it was a work dinner. And then last night, I stayed at home yesterday, and pretty boring yesterday. What up?
Okay.
So, and I guess that's it for our weekends. Are y'all ready to get started blaming? All right, guys. Up first, I didn't tell you this, Shannon. We were supposed to be sharing it to our Facebooks, and I completely forgot while we were talking about our weekends. But anyway, you shared it? You shared it?
Yes.
Are you? Okay. Very good, Terry. Very good. At least you do something around.
Thanks.
Here. Okay. So have y'all heard about this pregnant woman driving in Dallas, and she was pulled over for driving as a single in the HOV lane illegally, but she told the officer that she had two people in the car because she was pregnant. Who's to blame, guys?
I know what you want me to say. This seems a little teed up for me, because you want me to say, well, if it's a person and it has rights according to the Supreme Court now, then it should be able to be in the HOV lane too. That's not really my concern. My concern is why we still have HOV lanes at all. Most of those have been converted. Most of those have been converted over into express lanes so that state and local governments can make money off them. Hence, with Dade County doesn't have HOV lanes anymore. And it was initially they were put in because they were trying to get people to carpool. And they say, well, you can get to work faster if you ride together. Nobody ever did that because people are gross and nobody wants them around. So that failed. And now all it's done is during the heaviest times of traffic, It's increased traffic on everybody on the highway that's not in that lane. And it did absolutely nothing to support the environment because we don't give a shit about the environment. There's things we could do if we wanted to do them, but the Supreme Court just rolled back that. So we don't care about the environment. This is a non-story.
A fun
Non-story.
story.
It's a non-story.
Get off your soapbox. Shannon, what do you think?
I
Not
mean,
a
I guess
soapbox.
I do agree in some senses. I really hate coming down to like Broward and Miami because of the express lanes. I'm like, this I feel like is for like rich people. Like we're like stopping the working class from getting to work on time.
You can use the express lanes outside.
Well, 50 cents, you're not exactly breaking the bank.
But sometimes it costs money when you need it though.
Oh, when you, yeah. Sometimes it does cost money, but you know what?
Well, actually, it's done on demand. The higher the traffic level, the higher the tax to use it.
So the more you need it, the more it costs.
So y'all think more to blame here is our transportation codes?
Actually, I think it's the redistributing of state funds that requires municipalities and counties and state governments to do this kind of thing in the first place. They shouldn't be having to, recoup revenue from the citizens off of roads they already paid for.
Okay.
Right?
Okay. Won't go back down that path. So
we already paid for that road once.
Y'all have nothing to say about the fact
shouldn't have to pay for it again.
She's trying to use case law regarding privacy laws to get over
Those don't
on
exist anymore.
transportation code.
Yeah.
Nothing on the other end. Nothing about her saying that she has.
To be fair, there were 2 heartbeats in the car.
She was very pregnant. I will say that.
She was like about to pop. Like it could have happened.
But let me just say this about this woman. This is not the first time she's done it. She tried it with her son. I think she's just trying to bring attention to maybe, I guess, the case law here. But what I found funny about this is I saw a bunch of liberals resharing the story, like, "Ooh, this is my favorite Karen, this and that." And I'm like, read more into it. And she's like, "I'm not pro-choice." And I was like, so just
well, I mean, that has no bearing on it. But I do like the fact that it brings up an interesting argument because it's been a long debated point, people between pro-life and pro-choice people. When does life actually begin? But by a state, especially Texas, saying that no, an in utero life is not a life yet. They're kind of stating that if you had a 1-month-old baby next to you, you're fine. But if you're pregnant and you're 1 month from delivery, you're not fine. You're establishing when life begins just over a traffic stop.
The criminal code covers it. If you murder a pregnant mother,
right?
Pretty sure you're gonna get charged with
a double homicide.
Yeah, you get double homicide for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but again,
like I say, it's the code that's not updated. It's the transportation codes that are out of date, especially considering that these new laws just took place, right?
Yeah.
And not everywhere is enforcing the same in each state. Some states are not going to be saying that.
I'm just wondering, was that cop maybe pro-choice then? You know, he wasn't respecting life.
I don't know, but it's a fun argument to have as soon as somebody brings up what Gio just did. Somebody that's pro-life and brings up, well, if you murder a pregnant woman, you get charged with double homicide. Yeah, well, you can't drive in the HOV lane if you're pregnant. So, I mean, it's just a fun mental exercise.
And that's why the cop did it, because it's the law right now. The law hasn't been updated to accommodate. But this lady probably was ready for it because she's tried it twice. So, but I think on that end, she's more of a conservative advocate than a liberal.
That doesn't matter.
Liberals,
it's still a good mental exercise.
On liberals today, the liberal website Salon had to retract an article which falsely stated that Governor DeSantis signed a bill that forces students to register their political views. Who's to blame? Why would they? I'm glad they retracted it, but like, who's to blame for this whole debacle?
The internet.
Yeah, society, the way the internet works. I think it's like both media will exaggerate things. It's like, oh, you can't really say conservative or liberal media is to blame because both sides do the same thing.
Well, I said the internet because we live in an age of I'm going to do my own research, which is it puts pressure on media outlets, whether they be conservative or liberal leaning, either way, or truly independent, which there are still some, but it puts pressure on them to get these clickbait article headlines that's going to put more traffic onto their site, which is going to put more money into their pocket, which means and I'm not saying that they're all just being greedy. I mean, you got to make money to survive. That's it. So when it comes to survival, they're going to do what they have to do. And sometimes you have to, bend the truth a little, spin an article a certain way or an opinion a certain way. But I've always said it's so short-sighted because you ultimately lose credibility and put bullets in your enemy's gun to fire back at you. It's very short-sighted.
I'm going to tell you why that's bullshit on this end, because Fox News, they constantly put misinformation and lies out there. Salon retracted, because that's what liberal websites would do.
Right, but they have
doing that, they're going to have to retract their story if they want to remain credible. And I mean, it took them a while, a year later, to that end. What was the point in the poll anyway?
Well, I mean,
what I read originally, it was like, they put out this poll because it's like this college's liberal indoctrination. It's like it makes you liberal. It's brainwashing, and like because that idea is out there, they're like, we're going to survey our colleges and make sure our colleges aren't doing that. And that's why they've asked. I guess they haven't required or forced, but they've asked their students and staff to submit their political views as part of surveying. And in that sense, they could be like, oh, this school tends to have more liberal leaning faculty, and we're going to cut some of the funding because we don't want to support that sort of education that they're providing. So,
and that's a very good point. It can be very problematic whenever you bring that into the case, because as we've already seen through DeSantis's term, he's very interested in the education system, and he's very interested in blocking anything that might even be considered a liberal thought from being taught in public schools, the ones that he can control at least. And then I guess that is also going to go for community college and such like that. Obviously, the private institutions not going to be affected, but the private institutions that do get, funding from the state, they're going to be affected by it. So it's not what they're doing right now that's scary. It's what they want the information for to do later.
And you know what's interesting about all that is like Florida's institutions or colleges are all in blue areas. They're all in blue areas. And it like with much what DeSantis, it just doesn't feel right, It doesn't feel right.
It feels like they're mining. It feels like they're sending people out, spending money to send people out to poll so that they're mining for information that they can either use or spend for their own benefit. Like it's the same. It's been the same with, we talked about this before. It's been the same. It's been the same with CRT in every state, every red state. It's been, CRT. I'm going to eliminate CRT from the school. It's never existed. It's a total smokescreen. CRT has never been taught in one public school in American history ever. So it's a total mind fuck about how that works.
It should be like, you should let them get the truth somewhere. All right, like speaking of truth, normally I gotta say Joe Rogan isn't like always a truth teller, but this time he will not host Donald Trump on his podcast. Who's to blame?
He didn't. This is an older story. He may have just talked about it again recently, but when Trump was still in office, people were asking if he would interview him.
He's always refused him, and he keeps asking.
Well, no, in the beginning he was open to it. I remember the conversation. He was like, I don't know. he's like, I'd want to do it here, but if I had to go to the White House, I wouldn't do it because I'd want it to be 3 hours long, and he's not going to sit for a 3-hour interview and blah blah blah. So he was always kind of against it because he's like, I'd only want to do it the way that I normally do this. He's like, I don't want to change it for that person.
It's interesting because he has had a bunch of other political people on his podcast. Then
Bernie Sanders was on there.
That wouldn't get him like views. I guess he doesn't need the views. He already has the views.
I think what he said was he's worried about. What I thought was funny is he said that he was worried because he's such a polarizing character that it would have a negative influence, and feels to me like, even though he's doing it, I don't know that it's for like the right reasons. Like, he's a dangerous character. Giving him your platform is dangerous. It's not just polarizing. It doesn't make it dangerous just because it incites the left. You know what I'm saying? Because that's kind of how I felt like he painted it. But I think he is just dangerous with his rhetoric, as he's proven on January 6th. You know?
Not to say
and not to mention that
already been mad
people, the independents and even the Democrats that follow his podcast, the people who hate Donald Trump really hate Donald Trump, and they will take offense to it, and his numbers will go down on that side. They may come up on the other side a little bit, but not really. I mean, if you're a conservative or even just a moderate Republican and you like Joe Rogan, you're all in on him already. You know what I mean? You're not going to be drawn to him because he interviews Trump, but you will be drawn away from him if he interviews Trump and you happen to be against him. You're right, because he is such a polarizing figure.
I think so is Joe Rogan, but Joe Rogan is responsibly exercising his influence in this case, you know?
He tries to play both sides. It's like he was like super pro Bernie, and then he's like, I would support DeSantis, and I'm like, they're two completely different people. You're confusing me.
Well, he did have Bernie Sanders on.
Like what?
I feel like, and he says like, oh, because DeSantis is different. I'm like, DeSantis is
you know what?
Bitch.
That is a libertarian for you. There are so many libertarians I've met as a podcast, like a blogger / podcaster, that were libertarians trying to get me to see their views, and they were like that. They supported Bernie, but they also would have supported Trump. You know, it's DeSantis is not Trump's bitch. It's his main competition right now. No, I think he's more dangerous.
DeSantis, the problem with DeSantis,
he's more dangerous because he is already political. He know what he
knows. No. The problem with DeSantis is that he thinks just like Trump does. He wants everything that Trump wanted. He's the worst kind of hard right-wing conservative. But he's wrapped in a much nicer package, and he knows how to act and talk and seem legitimate, which makes him way more dangerous. Way more dangerous. At least Trump's a lunatic, and
it's like, because all politicians are dangerous in certain ways because they all tell us what they want us to hear. And then it's not always told true to what their promises are.
Yeah, but a lot of them are not as dangerous as like when you have a celebrity become a politician. And, you know what I'm saying? Then it's like a fucking cult.
Well, think about, and that's exactly what I was going to pose to you is think about this. Think about this analogy, and you tell me which one's more dangerous. A crazy guy in the middle of the street running around screaming about how there's a spaceship behind the Halley's Comet that's coming down to pick us up, and we all need you're going to kill everybody to save everybody. Or is it a charismatic leader that says all that same exact shit and then gets, 55 people to kill themselves in the Halley's Comet cult? Because that did happen, that Heaven's Gate cult. That's exactly what happened. But if he was outside,
right-wing conservatives doing when they're like, Kyle Rittenhouse wasn't a bad kid. It's like you're essentially spreading murder too. It's like not physically drinking the Kool-Aid.
You're saying there's good people on both sides. That's what you're saying.
No. I don't know about that. I don't know if that.
There's good people on both sides.
I think the only good person on the other side died a couple years ago.
All right.
John
So,
McCain.
y'all, the Supreme Court is poised to support independent state legislative theory, which would allow states complete control over everything from state electors to redistricting. It's very scary. Who's to blame?
I sent you this one specifically because I wanted to rant about it. This is the most dangerous court case in American history. If this goes through, it is the end of American democracy. And I am not overstating that one iota. Red states will be red states. Blue states will be blue states. Nothing will ever change. The idea of a swing state out the window won't matter because state legislators are the most hardened party constituents anywhere. Because so many people just skip the down ballot vote, right? And they just vote for president and vice president, or they'll just vote for this senator or that senator, and they'll completely skip over their state legislators, even though they have a tremendous amount of power. And if the Supreme Court gives election rights down to them, it's over. It's over. There will never be another fair election in this country's history.
Well, slow down because you can always go back to the federal legislature to change.
Actually, you can't. And here's why. Because this is why you can't go back to federal. Because part of this case is that the laws they pass for electoral issues, for election issues, are unvetoable. Cannot be vetoed, not by the governor, not by the federal government, cannot be vetoed. So once they pass, they're there, period.
And what's fucked up about it, they are misinterpreting the fucking Constitution.
What's the point of the United States if like we all have different laws though? That's what I don't really
understand. You mean the divided states?
What's the point of these people being like patriotic and being like, I love my country, but I want to be worried about where I live?
They tried to split and they're still trying. They are still trying.
Well, at what point?
I'm telling you, people.
Then it's counties, then it's cities. It's like, okay, well, South Florida, we're going to cut all of our funds, and North Florida can do shit about that.
There's really nothing to be done about this at this point. It is too late. Our conservative elected. We're about to suffer the repercussions of fucking around, playing with your vote, electing a celebrity. That's all. Like your vote's not really not gonna matter. You thought it didn't matter before. It's not gonna matter now.
Let me tell you something. Everybody's out there protesting the Roe v. Wade case. Fuck that. That is nothing compared to this. You're talking about never another free democratic election ever. You're talking. I mean, you're talking about real autocracy now. This is really a dangerous situation. This is the scariest thing politically in my entire life.
The irony of this to me is a black justice doing this, or second black justice doing this.
Yeah, with a conservative white wife who believes in overthrowing elections.
This is a nightmare, y'all. Y'all don't even know. All right,
yeah, a conservative justice whose wife is now being mentioned in the January 6th committee hearings. That's great.
It's just
nothing surprises me anymore.
If the news bums you out, good. It fucking should. It absolutely should bum you out because this is a very dangerous, precarious time for America right now.
And people are just mad about Roe v. Wade, but
dude, I wrote it in a book 14 years ago. I said, America's such a great country that the only people that could destroy it is its own. And we're doing it. We're doing it. Because we want everybody wants everything their way.
It won't be the bombs, it'll be the...
No, everybody wants everything their way. They don't want to share. They don't believe in losing anymore. Trump changed that. There's no such thing as losing anymore. You either win or somebody stole it. You know? But part of being in a democracy means you're going to lose sometimes.
I don't know. What was that? What happened in 2000? Was that stealing?
A little bit.
Yeah.
Well, that was more complaining until one guy gave up. That's essentially what it was. I was down here for 2000.
That's just in general. That's just like, I don't know. Sometimes I like I hate being like a registered Democrat because I'm like, I also hate you guys too. Like, why don't you try hard enough? Like, why aren't you being just as big of assholes
You know
to fight
what?
for our side?
That makes sense. I
But
think because I haven't been getting mail-in ballots, and I've been wondering why. But I also after I only became a Democrat to register to vote for Bernie Sanders.
Yeah.
But what's stupid is I should stay a Democrat and try to push more progressive.
Yeah, the primaries.
But I mean, that's just who I vote for, but just in the primaries, I can't vote. So
I went really crazy for Andrew Gillum.
Well,
and that's
I just want to get back to that. She mentioned 2000. I voted in that election for Bush, actually. And even having voted for Bush in that election back then, I remember thinking, this is a baby who doesn't want to accept the loss. But here's the thing. The counts were so close, it triggered a recall anyway, or a recount anyway. That's part. If it's less than 1%, you get a recount. That's it.
If we would have had Gore, we wouldn't have had Obama. So
yeah.
That's true. We do tend to flip back and forth every couple of years.
I would have given away Obama to not have Trump. I don't know.
Ooh, that's a rough one, right?
I don't know, man.
No, I think I would have given away Obama not to have Trump. Because you know what?
I don't know. American Healthcare Act was kind of monumental.
Obama should have had a stronger back, like pushing through that Supreme Court nomination. It pisses me off that like Trump was like, no, I'm getting this last one in. It was like, but wait, you didn't let us do that. It's like, well, you shouldn't have.
Oh, don't even start. That boils my blood. That whole Merrick Garland issue just boils my blood. I don't want to think about it.
That's why we are in the situation we're in. Merrick Garland should be on that court, but whatever. Anyway.
Well, you'd still be a what, a 5-4 leaning justice, even if you were.
We'd still be fine.
Wouldn't change anything.
Would have taken definitely Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
Yeah, I blame Ruth Bader Ginsburg. How dare she die?
Well,
No,
to be fair, she should have retired. Well, she knew that Obama was in office. I mean, it's tough to say. The thing about it is, you should give up your career before you die so we can benefit, but you knew what
she should have done it in the middle of his term.
Yeah.
So that they wouldn't have. But
yeah, there were actually.
She knew that they would just filibuster. You know what Tom Hartman is saying? The most important thing to get rid of is the goddamn filibuster.
Yeah, 100%. But you got Kristen Sinema and old Cole McCollerson up there to thank for that. If they get on board.
Let's get into the funny. I'm so depressed now.
I know. Welcome to this world that I live in.
Welcome, Shannon, Laleem. Welcome to the Blamegirl Podcast. So, how long have you been doing comedy?
About 4 months now.
Oh, that's it.
4 months since end of February, March, April, May.
Seems longer than that.
That makes sense. I was like, because I had asked her why she didn't, why she hadn't heard about Swamp, and I now understand it's because she's only been doing it 4 months. We're at the podcast.
Yeah, we're in a podcast.
Oh, shit. Spanish.
Conspiracies.
God damn. It's
Speaking
like,
of
they don't see the computer standing. Every comics, they're like, hey, what's up?
Yeah. What do you think we're doing?
Oh, they're just being friendly. Relax.
No, they are. I love them, but I'm still trying to ignore them and talk to the computers so that they know. And they're just still like, yo, what's up? Did you see me?
We're a bunch of autistic folks.
All right, so 4 months. That's crazy. How did you get started?
Pretty much I've always liked comedy. I've always watched Comedy Central stuff, the cartoon comedy kind of series and such. And then I started watching Kill Tony. And when I started watching Kill Tony, I was like, oh, this is cool. I've always wanted to go to Austin. If I ever went, I could maybe go here. I should write some jokes. Because when I first watched it, I was like, oh yeah, there's all these people that go up for their first time. I could write some jokes and I could go up.
So did you do it?
So no. So I just started writing jokes, and my friend was like, let's check out this open mic. I've been doing stand-up. Come with me. So I went to the Coop, watched. I was like, oh, all right. Not that not that bad. Might as well try it. So I went back like the next week and tried it like for the first time.
Who got you in? Which comic?
Not like anyone you guys would know. He's just he started like right before I did, and he hasn't really been going out much.
Oh, okay. So do you have any plans on trying Kill Tony or?
I don't think like anytime soon, just because I feel like I wouldn't want to like embarrass myself. Like I'd want to be like solid before I went on it.
Yeah.
You know, I would.
But aren't you gonna get embarrassed almost regardless?
I guess you always get embarrassed, but
Tony?
I like wouldn't want to like really bomb, and I like what joke would I do?
Yeah.
You know, and I feel like Kill Tony can either be like full send or not so great and like really ego killing.
So Kill Tony, I really hadn't heard about it until he was down here and a bunch of Florida comics went. And but I'm gonna try to get on to Kill Tony when I'm in Austin this time, because I think they do it on Mondays, so I'm gonna go and try to do it.
You get in free, you just have to like wait there. It's just like it's kind of like the pressure. It's like the has that pressure of like which number is mine. But like imagine being like in a venue like the size of the Improv and not knowing if you're going up until 5 seconds before, and you got 1 minute.
Yeah.
It's like it's a lot of pressure. So
no, I'd be like, it's just all this uncertainty.
Yeah.
Because you're like, you got to be ready to go up, but you might not.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna be ready for it. And then if I don't go up, there's so many open mics in Austin. I'll try to hit some other open mics. And then like it's interesting because that, like you say, that Hans Kim.
Yeah.
Last year when I went, I met him and they were like, oh, like after that is when he was like on Kill Tony and started making out with all the strippers.
Yeah.
And then that's how he got big and then mentioned on Joe Rogan and all this stuff. So now
he's like open for Joe Rogan.
So it's so interesting to see that growth from someone that I actually met when I was there.
Yeah,
like, it's crazy.
He told me like pretty much like his career was just kind of like whatever, like he wasn't really like doing all that much. And
he's
now
from like LA, right?
He said he started in Seattle, lived in New York. He said New York scene was like not very cool. He was in LA for like 2 months, got up once, and then when Kill Tony got like canceled, he was like asked to come and do like the national anthem, which I was not even.
Oh, you mean when Kill Tony went off on that Asian
guy? Yeah. So then like he was like, "You're Asian, come sing the national anthem on my podcast," and he did. And he's like, "I wouldn't live in Austin if it wasn't for the podcast, but like it's been great for his career." He's like, "I don't have a manager, I just do this all on my own." I'm like, "Damn, I should."
That's pretty cool.
Like,
I believe him too, because like I said, he was at open mics just like I was at open mics.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Yo, this guy's really good," because he's really funny.
Yeah.
And just like sharp, you know, like that's So
I got a question here. So you're doing comedy, but you're doing it with your husband too, right? Correct? He also does stand up?
Yeah.
Okay. How has that been working for you? And has that caused any abrasion in your relationship? I've dated other comics before. I know, that some of the, let's say, pitfalls of trying to do both. Has that been a problem?
I think it's maybe different for us because like we've been together for like 11 years. Like we're married and we started it at the same time. So I think that makes it different. He also like, I think kind of is like, just kind of does it for fun. He doesn't come every time. Like I've gone up way more than he has because he comes a lot and he's like, I'm not doing it. Like I'm not doing it tonight or whatever. So I think that kind of makes things like vary as well. But no, I wouldn't say it started like any fights. It's more so like people say things and it's like, it's kind of funny to us. It's like, well, you think we're gonna get divorced because I'm like an open mic comic? I'm like, well, I don't know like what you think is gonna like happen versus 11 years of foundation. Like,
I don't know.
This is my best friend. Like, I don't know what to tell you.
All right, so since you've been doing it, what has been your favorite venue to do it at? And you can't say the Improv.
Yeah, I really like Propaganda.
Okay.
I like have a fun time there. It's like cool because I live in Lake Worth. It's convenient to go there. And then it's also like the scum crowd and like I do dirtier stuff.
Yeah.
So like I feel like it's like a good place for me to
It's like
do
your
comedy.
people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, this is my people, Lake Worth locals.
Yeah,
We're dirty.
I
Like,
understand that.
so I like it there. And that's a Saturday too, so it's like a huge crowd.
Yeah.
Like last time there were like the room was filled.
Yeah.
So I like it
Yeah,
there.
you got it. And then what's cool about propaganda is it goes so late. It's a late
Yeah.
mic, so you have till about 2 a.m. just about to be able to get up on stage. So that's
Which is crazy. I mean, that's like a New York show, you know. That's a New York, that's a LA show. Yeah. And not even a weekday one. That's like a weekend, you know.
yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Sure.
what's been your favorite moment since you've been doing it? I don't know how many shows you've performed in, but what's been your favorite moment? It could be at an open mic or just
I've only done like one showcase thus far, but like that was pretty cool because like when I first started, people were like, "Oh, you're not gonna go anywhere unless you have 10 minutes of clean comedy and this and that." And then like I feel like as I started going, people are like, "Oh, I've just accepted that this is her style, and like that's just what I'm gonna do." So like,
Yeah.
I'm just gonna do what I want to do
yeah,
and have fun with it. I don't want to like do things I don't like. So I think like being like finally like accepted, because I feel like a lot of ways people are kind of clicky. They're like, oh, this person's not going to be around for a long time. And it's like, oh, the more you see that person, you're like, oh, okay, hey.
yeah,
Versus like when I first started going, like people would just like not look at me. And I'm like, why are people so weird here?
yeah. That's why I learned that too when I first started. Like Brian Cordato.
Yeah.
Him and his girlfriend at the time, they were pretty like cold to me, and when I got to know them, they were like, "Oh, it's just you never know who's gonna stick around." And I was like, as I got older, I'm like, I get it now.
Yeah.
You're in your own, well, I don't know, you kind of feel it, like you're in your own head trying to figure out your jokes, and you're not really concerned with.
Yeah.
And then once you start seeing people over and over again, then you start talking to them.
Yeah. Or like when someone like compliments a joke and it's like a joke said like before. Like if I see someone, like I was on the street in West Palm after Sunfest, and some girl, she's like, I know you. And I was like, how do you know me? And I was like, do you work at school? Like maybe I know you from this. And then I was like, comedy maybe? And she's like, oh my God, I just saw you at this kava bar. Like she recalled one of my jokes. And I like won that kava competition, which was cool.
So favorite moment?
Yeah, that was a good moment. That was like
someone recognizing you.
Yeah. Like another day too, like some guy was at the propaganda show. He's a bartender somewhere else in Lake Worth that just started a mic on Thursdays. And so I walk in and he's like, what's up, my Catholic or whatever. And I was like, who are you? Like, but what's up?
I don't know that that's happened to me. Well, maybe like when I'm at a show, but not just randomly walking around. No one's approached me and been like, "Oh, I saw you." That would be really cool.
Yeah.
I've had people at work call me out for it. I've showed up to jobs and clients be like, "Don't I know you from somewhere?" And I'm like, "I don't know." And they go, "Yay, I saw you at such and such. You were doing jokes and stuff, right?"
Get out of my house. Right.
I was like, "Yeah, I'm trying to I try to separate those two worlds as much as I can, but."
So, Shannon, what has been the biggest challenge in doing comedy?
Besides the vagina.
Yeah, besides having a vagina.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Besides being a woman is a more less crass way to put it.
Yeah, no, it's tough because some people are like, oh, that person's only telling me you have a good joke because they want to fuck you. And I'm like, all right,
sometimes.
Thanks, probably, whatever.
That is true sometimes, though.
I'll still take it, thank you.
Yeah,
Joke's on you, you're not going to be able to. How about that?
Like, whatever, I'm married, it's funny to me. But at the same time, it's like, I get in my head sometimes. I'm like, oh my God, like this joke did so well the other day. I did it tonight, not as good or whatever. I think it's like easy to like get in your head and be like, why didn't it go well tonight? It went well the other night, or whatever. You're like, what? I said it in a different order. And so I think it's easy to get in your head about those things.
Definitely. And I don't.
Well, it is.
I'm not a
There's
fan
a
of
reason.
dropping jokes until you've tried it in several different venues, because yes, you will get a different response. Like,
Well,
some
not
jokes
even
are
that,
almost
just
dropped, and I've tried them in multiple venues, and like now I'm like, no, it's actually a funny joke, and I should keep it. You know?
Yeah.
What were you gonna say, Terry?
I was saying it's not even that. It's yeah, it can be the audience or the crowd type, but also the addition or the subtraction of 5 words or less can mean the difference between a joke working and a joke not working. So it's all about cutting that fat, you know. It's all about taking out what needs to be taken out, or finding a better way to say something in a different way, you know.
Or a different punchline.
Energy too.
Or a
Like,
different, yeah,
if
or
I'm in
just
my
even
head
a
or I'm
different
like-
cadence, you know.
Energy, cadence, all these things
Well,
matter.
and that's the thing is, we're comedians are just people, you know. So your mood can affect the way you tell a story, and the way you tell a story can affect the way people receive it, you know.
I'm glad you brought that up, because Shannon is just the people. Who is Shannon? Like, what is your day job? Where are you from?
So I'm from Buffalo, New York.
Okay.
And I went to college for marine science and environmental science. I moved down here to like pursue my career in that. I work in nonprofits, but I also have like a garden business. I do like fruit trees and edible landscaping.
I don't know why, but that just fits you perfectly. I don't know why, but I just picture you working in a nursery somewhere.
Yeah. So like I know a lot about like tropical fruits and things like that. And then like marine science is my thing. I was like super into sea turtles. And that's like what brought me to like Palm Beach County specifically. But I love it down here.
I mean, if I was casting a movie and it was like, we need a liberal horticist, you know, I'd be like, your part is yours. I don't know why. That's just the way it hits me, you know?
Yeah, essentially.
So how long have you been down here again?
I've been down here since, I came down for an internship 2015, in like May of 2015. And I had one semester of college left. And then I came down like for good December 2015. So it's been a while. It's been almost like 7 years with a couple months off. But I love it here.
So do you have any other projects when it comes to like entertainment and comedy? Do you do videos? Do you have a podcast?
No, I've done like one other podcast before, but that's it. Like just since I started. And and that's pretty much it. Yeah. So like just like starting this, doing my day job, doing the plants.
I don't know why I thought you were a nurse.
A nurse.
That would fit too. Yeah.
I think it's that baby shower though.
Yeah, maybe.
I think I was
like a pediatric nurse. I would cast her as that.
Pediatric.
Sure.
Oh geez. I do work with kids. So to be fair.
Is that what
I'm a casting genius.
Yeah, I teach like marine science essentially,
fun.
and I like run that nonprofit. I do like financials and all that for grants.
She's the lady in the high school putting the condom on the banana. That's what.
I've definitely been in a middle school and someone's been like, "Where's your hall pass?" And I'm like, "Oh, why do I look like a middle schooler?"
Damn.
Yeah, see, it was this close.
Exactly.
All right, Terry. Shannon, are you ready to play the blame game?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Since I ruined Gio's blame, which is the husband question, I'm going to give you one of my own. Why don't you have a mic yet? Because there's been a trend over the last few years of within the first 6 months of somebody starting comedy, they start their own open mic. So where's your mic?
I guess I didn't really think too much into it. I think also
what kind of
yeah,
who's to blame?
I kind of was thinking
who's to blame? Why don't you have a mic yet?
Is the judgment that I might get for doing that.
Look, let's scratch that. That was a horrible blame. That was a horrible one.
Why is that a horrible blame? Think about it.
Right, the show.
The judgmental
okay,
community.
Shannon, we're gonna go back to the hubby question.
Okay, let's go back.
Do comedy together. Who's to blame?
Well, I guess
her husband, guys, he does comedy too.
Yeah. Well, I guess technically him, because he was the one that started the Kill Tony thing. Like he was like, let's watch this Kill Tony show. I was like, all right, we'll watch this. And I'm just kind of like, it's weird. We're watching all these like amateur comedians. But that kind of got us like writing our own jokes, which then I guess got us to like go out. We both started like the same day.
Yeah.
So no competitiveness creeping in.
No, it's like more so like other people are like weird about it. Like it's more so like people like saying things on stage, just because other comedy relationships haven't been successful doesn't mean like me and my husband that I've been with since I was 17 are not going to be successful.
No, you'll be fine.
No, I wouldn't say that. No, because you do have a good leg up because you were together for a long period before and you started comedy together.
Yeah. And it's
a lot of the times when it doesn't work out, it's because
he will understand your world if he stops, and if you stop, you will understand his world. So you know what's up. You know, like I think that's often with comedians and dating, and what makes it hard is like you don't know what your significant other might be out there doing.
Yeah, and
now when
and
it comes to
music too, so he's like, I don't want to dedicate too much time into doing comedy because he's a musician, and so like it's like tonight he's hanging at home doing the litter boxes and then like playing music.
See, that's interesting too. We'll have to get him on because a lot of comedians, they do the crossover. Terry, like I was saying earlier, he used to be in a band.
Yeah.
So, and we interviewed comedian after comedian at three bands. Okay, sorry, 3 bands. Country bands. So does it really?
Country. Oh.
I know.
That's why he voted for Bush in 2000.
That's why I'm not a musician anymore.
So, all right.
I think it's really the only thing corrosive, because I mean the comedy scene can be pretty corrosive, only because there's certain people in it that are they'll try to drive a wedge or between you, or they'll try to disparage one person or the other, and then it creates a competitiveness, and then next thing you know, it's all toxic. And I don't know. I just won't do it anymore. I've just refused.
Yeah, I definitely get that. It's weird if like something comes across weird, like if someone being maybe I think is maybe being a little weird, maybe a little flirty with me. I'm like, this is weird. Don't you know I'm married? So like that can be kind of weird for us or whatever, but it's also funny. Like it's also kind of funny. Like we laugh about that stuff.
Yeah.
So I don't really care. It's just like, those are people's own insecurities coming out when they're like, oh, you and your husband are gonna get a divorce. It's like,
I can't believe people say
he's got a big dick, so probably not.
I can't believe people say that shit to you.
On stage, like that's their crowd work. It's like their crowd work is like, you and your husband are gonna get a divorce. It's like,
I've dated comedians and had other comedians hit on my chick right in front of me. Like it's the whole idea of stand-up comedy can attract some very corrosive people. And
the only thing that sucks is like being a female comic, it doesn't work the same.
Yeah.
You're not getting dick thrown at you quite like a male comic is getting vagina thrown at you, I guess.
I don't know if that's necessarily true or not.
No, that's definitely not true.
No, that is true. It's the quality.
Well, yeah, but I mean, it's a very well-known fact that
honestly.
it's a very well-known fact that in comedy, sometimes women will get booked for shows specifically so the showrunner that booked them can have a chance to, get a piece or try to at least,
Yeah.
Like
all right.
It's a well-known trap.
Do you have anything you want to promote, or you want to just give your social media? Do you have any upcoming shows?
So my social media is Shannon Says Shit. And my next show potentially is canceled because the venue is not responding to the booker. But I do have a show the first Friday in September with Brett at Jesse's Extreme Comedy something.
Yes, Extreme Sports Bar.
Yes.
Extreme Sports Bar. Yes, that's a great show. I headlined that one not too many months ago, and it's a fantastic show. If you can't do well there, work on it, because
I've
They're
heard
there for
people
the show.
complain
They
about
love
that
it.
room.
I heard people complain about the room, but I was like, oh, like Gummy Bar. I
Well,
like
that's
why I
what
said,
you
like,
want
no,
to be.
like,
Yeah, Gummy Bar.
I did a show
Yeah.
with the tour that Nick and Connie and all them. I was a guest on that show there, and it was great. I had a great time. They were like, they loved us girls, so I think
I did 45 minutes there and ended up getting a BJ in the parking lot. So
that's
can't
right.
can't.
From the bar.
True story, bro.
See, I don't get anything in the parking lot. No one offers.
Well,
but I digress. All right.
Work on your game.
Okay, so you got Shannon said shit. Show September, Jesse's train.
Yeah.
And then we have time for Terry's Wayne's Word for White People.
We're going back. I know we did a blame on this, but this week, for the first time, we're going to talk about elections. We got one coming up in November that's pretty important. And if you're listening and you're forgetting, it's not just about presidential. Midterms are very important as well. So are your local elections, your state legislators, your state attorneys generals. We've got one coming up in Palm Beach County for state attorney general. It's very important. Very, very important. These are the people that wield the power, that control your day-to-day lives. It's not Trump versus Biden. It's not Hillary versus Trump, or it's not even Obama. You know, these people, they're not the figureheads. These are the ones that actually make the laws that govern your day-to-day lives. They control the budgets that control your day-to-day lives. And I hate to, harp on this again, but this Moore versus Harper case from South Carolina that's coming up in the Supreme Court is the most important case they've ever heard in American history. If this is done, forget it. It's an autocracy now. That's it. There'll never be another free election. There'll never be another democratic process. You got to take this one seriously. I know that everybody says every 4 years is the most important election of our lifetime, blah, 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 blah. No, this is the most important election, and they're doing it through the courts. So it's not even an election, but you got to make your voice heard on this. This is so, so critically important. Because without it, it doesn't matter. Without it, it doesn't matter who you vote for president. Okay. If this passes, it's doom. It's absolute doom. So if you want to make your voices heard, there's one way and one way only that you're going to get that done. And unfortunately, and I have always touted myself. I left the Republican Party after 10 years when it started going crazy. As I've said many times before on this, during the birther movement, I smelled the crazy coming. I got the fuck out. But even as an independent, there's only one way that you're going to get your voice heard in this case. And that is to vote in every single election that comes through, whether it be municipal, county, state, or federal, doesn't matter. Make your voice heard. Go out there, vote, and vote down ballot, all the way down, and vote for the fucking Democrats. I hate saying that because I hate
words for all people.
I hate party.
Actually, like something I'm all about. Like I did. Like
I hate party affiliations, and I hate voting. I hate people voting on party lines. But right now, the whole system is tilted towards one side, and the only way for you to snap these people out of this post-Trump Republican coma that they're in is to show them it doesn't work. If you show them it doesn't work, they'll snap out of it, and then you'll get a reasonable Republican Party back, which I think everybody sorely needs.
Reasonable Republican Party. Mm-hmm.
Hey, look, there is a reasonable Republican Party. Listen,
Terry,
there is a
Brian
reasonable
Coronado
Republican.
said he misses you.
He did?
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's sweet.
All right. So do you have anything coming up to promote?
Me? Yeah, check out my other podcast, The Worst Ones, with myself and 3 other pastors' kids. We discuss everything from current events to biblical relevance to what it's like to grow up in a church and be a pastor's kid and so on and so forth. You can find it on Spotify, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, everywhere you get your podcasts.
accept this one because Terry won't get it on Spotify, but it's fine. I can't do
I don't-
everything.
We got to get a whole new platform for that. I told you. I even gave you one we could do.
No, we'll talk about this later. All right.
All right.
So,
We'll fight about it later. That's fine.
probably. So, I have coming up Sunday a Ukrainian benefit show that my girl Joanna is putting on. It's at the Speakeasy in West Palm Beach. Go to my Blamegirl social media to find out about it. And
I will be there. It's
you'll
close.
be there.
It's
Yes.
right there. I got no
See, you'll,
excuses.
you'll get Blamegirl and Terry Wayne if you come out. So, and it'll go to a good cause. So, that's all I got for you. Until next week, guys. We're ending a little bit early, but
Well, let's say thank you to our guest for being here, Shannon. Thank you.
Thank you for having
That's right.
me.
Tell your husband I'm going to be contacting him for a few weeks. He'll be you can stay home and do the cat boxes and play the music.
Yeah, I don't do that. I don't
Ooh.
do that. I don't do litter boxes.
No.
all right. Bye, everyone.